friends here with Automate Academy TV, and I am so excited for another episode of How To today. And today I'm going to show you how to create a perfect webinar using, you guessed it, the perfect webinar script. I have a lot of people ask me all the time how I made my webinar, how it's so good, how it's so engaging. Myron Golden was super complimentary and told me it was the best webinar he has ever seen in the history of his career, which you gotta feel good about that. And so people ask me all the time how to do it, and I think it actually comes down into two different things. One of which is the actual script, and the second one is the presentation. So for this first how-to video, I want to talk about the actual script, which I will give you access to. And in the next video, I'm going to actually show you the presentation and different elements that I did to make sure that it was engaging, that we are able to visually display the information, and to make sure that people stuck around and hung around until the end. It doesn't do any good for you to do this whole pitch, to do this whole build-up, and then nobody's there for the pitch. So that's going to be in the second video, the next video, but this video, you have to get the foundations right in order for anything else to go well as well. So let me go ahead. I'm actually going to share my screen here, and I want to show you a little bit what my webinar looks like. Now, there have been many iterations of my webinar. This is the latest one that I want to show you, and you can see here, there's there's a lot of cool editing, there's a lot of tips and tricks, there's a lot of graphics. We'll see if this loads. You can see there's a lot of animations, there's a lot of things that happen in this, and it's really highly produced. And I think sometimes people can get overwhelmed by being like, oh, I can never have a webinar like yours, blah, blah, blah. But really, the magic is in the actual content itself. And then again, in part two, I'm actually going to show you more about how I did these cool little things. But yeah, is it okay if we go ahead and get started? So I have a course called CF Design School, and I sell it through a webinar funnel, which means people come to my funnel, I offer them a free training. That free training is 90 minutes long, which means I give a 90-minute long presentation, which is called a webinar. And that webinar I crafted using what is called the perfect webinar script, which comes from the one and only Russell Brunson, okay? And he actually has a specific training you can buy on that. He also goes really, really deep in it in his book, Expert Secrets. And I truly spent round one, 3 solid weeks, 2.5 or 3 solid weeks writing out my webinar, full-time 3 solid weeks. And since then have made modifications. I just did a training today and I made modifications to it, because the premise of this is that as you continue to do your webinar, you're going to hear things and understand the nuances of your market and your customer base, and so you want to continue to curate that so that it best serves them, and you can help them to kind of break down the barriers to enter your program. And so I want to walk you through a little bit what Russell Brunson's perfect webinar system looks like, walk through it, and then show you my example, and then I would love to give you access to my script so you can kind of use it as a base and foundation, okay, to kind of curate yours, and if you want to study it. So the perfect webinar, again, I can't take any credit for this. This is all Russell Brunson's doing, but essentially this is what he says. You start with the intro. You're going to make a bold promise, okay? And my bold promise is how to design a 7-figure website or funnel in 30 minutes without any tech skills. That's pretty bold, but that's what you want to do to get people to there. Now, the typical framework for how that headline should look is to do how to blank, how to do something without something. So again, kind of your bold thing. So how to do the skill you're trying to teach without a typical thing that people would need that you'd think to do that, right? So for me, it's without any tech skills. That's how it works. Another thing that I use very often is how to design aesthetically extraordinary funnels that convert without coding, Photoshop, graphic design skills. That's another headline I use all the time that converts really, really well. So that's the first thing that you want to do, okay? Take some time really studying and curating this, because the title of your webinar is going to have a direct effect on how many people actually subscribe to be a part of your webinar, who register to actually watch it, okay? Then you're going to do a hook to end where it's hey, if you stay to the end, I'll give you XYZ. If you stay to the end, you're going to learn this thing. If you stay to the end, whatever. You want to do anything that you possibly can to get them to stay to the end, because the pitch happens at the end. So if you have a 90-minute pitch and you don't pitch till minute 56 and people get bored and leave at minute 22, then you lost the game. Does that make sense? Then command attention. It is all about how you approach this freaking thing. If you don't come on as an authority, then people are going to be over it. Has anybody been on a webinar where it's just rough and it's they are talking way too slow? I recognize I talk quickly, but it's just how I am. They're talking way too slow. This is kind of boring. It's not going to work out so well. I don't really even know if they believe in what they're talking about. You can't do that. If you're going to sell somebody, sell somebody. So that's the other thing. Qualify yourself. Help people to understand who you are and why you are. In fact, I should have pulled these up before. I wonder if I still have them. I literally just today finished a training with Hawk Mikado's group called Funnel Magazine, and I did a whole training, and so we'll see if these pull up, and if they pull up, then I'll show you. But and the final thing is you want to future pace. So in terms of like, okay, cool, here's what we're going to do today. I have 3 secrets. It's like really popular in the perfect webinar thing. I have 3 secrets. We're going to learn this, this, and this. And so you want to kind of like draw out what's going to happen for them so that they, I wonder if this is it. So that they understand what they need to stay for. It gives them another incentive to stick around. So that's kind of what the intro looks like. Now, let's see if this pulls up and if this is even the right one. Okay, we'll give this a little bit of a second, then I can actually go through and show you examples of this. Then, once you actually kind of get into the introduction, you're going to actually deliver the content, okay? Now, remember, the one thing, which is, for me, how to design a 7-figure funnel in 30 minutes without any tech skills, the 3 secrets that he lays out here that you should share should all, again, as he said, build up to this one thing. They're all contributing to helping them to understand, in my case, how to design a 7-figure funnel in 30 minutes without any tech skills, okay? If you teach like 3 separate things, it's going to be really confusing. Instead, you're teaching one thing with like 3 different principles. Now, these 3 secrets, if you can see here, they're supposed to break and rebuild belief patterns. What is a belief pattern, okay? People believe certain things about certain things, and the only reason why people do anything is because of how they feel, okay? And their feelings are determined directly by their beliefs. So if we can modify their beliefs, we can modify their feelings, and if we can modify their feelings, we can get them to buy. Are you with me on this? Okay, so there are actually 3 separate categories that these belief patterns can fall into, specifically in the marketing realm, okay? And these 3 patterns are this: 1, vehicle beliefs; 2, internal beliefs; and 3, external beliefs. Now, we typically call these, when we're trying to, and I'm going to describe these 3 things in just a second, but when we're trying to figure out what to do for these 3 secrets, we're actually trying to figure out what are the false beliefs that they have that would prohibit them from buying this thing, or would prohibit them from believing the one thing, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and, instead of referring them to beliefs from now on, I'm going to refer to them as false beliefs. So we're trying to look for the false beliefs that they have, okay? So a false vehicle belief. What does vehicle mean? Vehicle means that they have some doubts or insecurities regarding the actual methodology that you're teaching them to get the result that they want, okay? So think of it in terms of literally a vehicle, okay? They're here. You promise them this result over here, and they doubt that the car that they need to take, the methodology you're presenting to get from point A to point B, they doubt that that's a thing. That's what they're confused about. So you want to go through and think, okay, what are all the false things they might think about my vehicle? So for me, my vehicle is design hacking. I say, listen, you can design a 7-figure funnel in 30 minutes. The vehicle that you need to hop into, open the door, put your seatbelt on, and get going with is something called design hacking. It's a 6-step science that helps you to design aesthetically extraordinary funnels that convert. Now, things that people have false beliefs about that is 1, design's not important, right? I can have an ugly funnel if my offer's good enough. Another one, people don't even pay attention to the design. Another one, if my copy's good enough, people will overlook it. Another one, design doesn't actually have that much influence or power. Like anything that has to do with this, like, hey, design's the answer, get you from here to here, that's what I want to address, okay? So secret number 1, what you're doing the whole time is taking somebody who maybe is a little bit hesitant and going through all their trepidations in regards to what you think is the biggest vehicle belief. Now, you might go through, and this is what I do, and I still do this all the time. It helps create great social content. It helps create great talking points. It helps like point out problems and things. But you might make a huge list. You might be like, there's 40 false beliefs that they have regarding the vehicle, right? What you're going to do is rank them, pick the one that you think the most will resonate with, and put it in your webinar. Does that show? So for me, one of the first points that I address in the webinar is I say your funnel is ugly, your website is ugly, but it's not your fault and it's easy to fix, okay? So I immediately am just telling them, like, because some people might be like, oh, it's not that bad, or it's fine, or it's hard to fix. I mean, like, not only does your thing suck, but it's really easy to fix, okay? So I'm pointing out that regardless of where they're at, I think they're in a bad situation and that they can do it really, really easily. So that's number 1. Secret number 2 centers all around internal beliefs, okay? internal false beliefs, and that has to do with anything about themselves. I'm not smart enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't know how to do this. It's like all like insecurities they have about themselves. So for me, right, it's like, listen, you don't need tech skills. So I go through this whole thing about how you don't need to spend 7 figures to be a 7-figure funnel designer. You don't need tech skills. You don't need graphic design skills. You don't need Photoshop skills. I just show them example after example after example after example. Secret number 3 is all about an external false belief, which deals with resources. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the support at home to do this, okay? What I do is I actually show them how, because a lot of people are concerned that like, oh, well, maybe this won't find me clients. There's not enough clients. There's not enough people needing this service. I show them how easy it is to find clients and what this will actually do for them. Does that make sense? So literally, and all these things are contributing to this one thing. Then once you do that, you say, well, let me ask you a question. If secret 1 is really true, and secret 2 is actually true, and secret 3 is actually true, do you think you could succeed? Like, do you think that this could actually be a thing? Then you say, listen, if you want to continue, if you actually believe this is going to be a thing, I'm going to invite you. Or is it cool if I spend about 10 minutes going over an offer I created specifically for you that will help you to achieve this number 1 thing? Now, you have to realize, when you're doing secret 1, secret 2, secret 3, you're never teaching the how. You're teaching the what and the why. You're teaching all upper level principles. So you help them to believe that this is actually possible, and that that's the why. And in terms of the what, you help them to believe that the way in which they are going to get that result that they now believe is through your methodology. Then the product that you actually sell is the how. How do you actually do that, okay? So then Russell says you need to do a stack where you start to offer the different things you offer the main product. You need to have at least 3 bonuses. One that helps with the vehicle false belief, one that helps with the internal false belief, one that helps with the external false belief, okay? And you keep stacking them up. And then you see this, like if all this did was help you to X, would it be worth it? If all this did was help you to X, would this be worth it? Helping them to see what outcomes they will achieve if they get this. And then you say, well, usually I charge $16,846 for this. Today it's yours for $997, or a payment plan, 1 payment of $197. Done. Okay, that's what we got here. And then there's different closes that we're going to talk about a little bit more, but essentially people have a lot of head trash with money. And so this helps them to kind of break down what that is. So he gives like 16 different scripts for things that you can do to close them, okay? So for example, like money is good. He's suggesting like money's actually a really good thing. It's not even that big of a deal, right? It's just an exchange for one thing to another. So if you believe that this thing can really actually achieve this, it's just a thing. It's just money. Money is actually a good thing, okay? Anyway, so all these different things. That is kind of the basics of the perfect webinar script. Okay, I want to show you a few examples from these slides. You can see, again, this is what I did today. Now, this was curated a little bit different than my free webinar. This was kind of like a paid training. So we went a little bit more into depth. So some of these slides might not pertain, but you see how to design aesthetically extraordinary funnels that convert with no coding, no Photoshop, no graphic design. Okay, so that's not there. So that's my bold promise. I didn't have a hook to the end today because it was a little bit different. Command attention. One thing that I do to command attention is I immediately assert why I'm there. Listen, he asked me to be here. I'm friends with him, and here's how we met. Here's exactly the compliments he's given me. Here's exactly what he thinks about my work. Here's exactly why he wants me to be here. Okay? Command authority. And they already believe his audience, so they will believe him. Okay? Then we're going to go ahead and qualify ourselves. And again, just a quick introduction. Let me find it really fast. Quick introduction. My name's Catherine Jones. I have owned a successful custom funnel design agency. I'm a Clickfunnels certified partner. I own a company called Automate Academy. I'm a #1 best-selling author. Okay? Do you see how I'm building rapport, which makes them believe that I am a big deal. But then what I immediately do is I bring them back on the ground and I relate with them. Because I don't want to fluff myself up too much, because then it becomes me versus them. Okay? But then I immediately say, but my favorite thing to introduce about myself is that I actually have no idea how to code. I've never opened Photoshop in my life, and I've never taken a graphic design class in my life. And I say, is anybody with me? And I say, give me a number. Like if you're 0 for 3 like me, write 0 for 3 in the comments. If you're 2 for 3, so you might know coding in Photoshop, but you've never taken a graphic design class, cool. And all of a sudden people in the comments, I'm 0 for 3, I'm 0 for 3, I'm 1 for 3, I'm 1 for 3, I'm so behind, I'm 0 for 3. And you have like some random person that's like, I'm 3 for 3, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're way ahead of us, right? And what I say, I'm like, listen, if you are 0 for 3, you are in exactly the right place. So that's what I say to them, okay? Anyway, so qualify yourself, but still build rapport, and then future pace, right? So like, hey, listen, I have 3 things that I'm super excited about to talk to you about today. And here they are. Where are they? Okay. Here's what they are. Secret number 1, your website's ugly. It's not your fault, it's fixed. Secret number 2, you don't need to spend some figures to be a seven-figure website funnel designer. Secret number 3, how to use a design facelift to explode your sales even if you suck at selling. This one is all about the vehicle, okay? Your website is ugly, but it's not your fault and it's really easy to fix. I'm going to show them how easy design hacking is to do. This one, you don't need to spend $1 million and a million things at times to do this. You can do this. You can do this. Secret number 3, how to use a design facelift to explode your sales. Showing that there's money galore to be had in this thing, okay? That's that. You rebuild. Let me ask you a question. And again, this was a training, less a direct pitch, so there's not as much there on that, but that's what we have here. Now, I want to actually take you, and this is what I'd love to give you guys access to. I want to actually take you through my script so you guys can see what's kind of going on here, okay? So introduction. Now, I have literally done this webinar like over 100 times, so I can do this in my sleep and modify it in my sleep. But literally when I started, I like had my script open and was like flipping through my pages and trying to be normal, okay? So introduction, hey, this is Catherine Jones, how are we doing? Blah, 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 blah. Let me zoom out a little bit. Cities, where are you guys from? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, now see these blue things? I'm gonna walk through this in just a little bit. Now, again, I kind of do an intro. What is a funnel? If you've failed before, don't worry, I'm gonna help you out. Here's my goal for this webcast. Cool. My other goal for this webcast, part 2. Now, who am I? Catherine. Now I'm at the introduction part, okay? Now here's my story. Here's a little bit more of the introduction. How the vehicle ever came to be. That's what I'm talking about now, okay? And again, if you want to see this thing in action, literally go to cfdesignschool.com and you can watch the webinar for free to actually see, okay? Now again, I'm telling the origin story of how design hacking, the vehicle came to be because it's part of my story, okay? And then I only get to, so I tell this thing, I'm like, design hacking, it's amazing, it's changed people's lives, but how does this apply to you? Done, okay? And then proof that this actually works. Okay, now I'm about to get to secret number 1. Now again, I've already done a ton of work before I ever even get to secret number 1, okay? Here's what we're gonna cover. Secret 1, secret 2, secret 3. I have already dished on them a ton of success stories, so by the time they get to these things, they're picking them up, okay? Secret number 1, here we go. Go all through secret number 1. Then we have secret number 2. It's gonna come eventually. You'll see. How many pages is this? I have no idea how many pages this is. It's not short, that's for sure. I would guess like 50 or 60 pages. I literally wrote out everything because I wanted to make sure. Secret number 2, now here's secret number 3. Now again, you're gonna start me see the close, do the close at the end, which again, I wanna give you access to this entire thing and I'll show you how to get it. Now again, let me ask you a question. If you followed what I showed you in secret 1 and actually learned the principles of design hacking, if you then followed secret number 2 and used design hacking to recreate any web page for yourself, if you followed secret 3 and started modeling $1 million web pages that appeal to your same customer base to guarantee an increase of your business sales, could you be successful, right? Okay, that's actually funny. I tweak it a little, it's different in my webinar, I tweak it a little bit. Okay, now all these different things, and then I introduce my product, who this course is for, why people usually don't get started. Here's what you can get. I'm going through all the bonuses. Like, literally, this entire thing is written out for you if you want to see it. And again, here's the stack. Oh, dang it, where'd it go? Now, let me show you. Here's the stack. So this is a $2,000, $997 value. So with CF Design School, here's the stack. You get CF Design School, $1,997 value. You get 2-week free trial ClickFunnels, $147 value. You get design hacking ClickFunnels templates, $4,410 value. You get ClickFunnels Made Easy, $2,997 value. And we just keep going. I give people like 9 or 10 bonuses in my course, okay? And then this is where it gets really fun. So then you finally reveal the price, okay? Once you've done the stack, and you're like, this is a however $16,000 whatever dollar value, okay? Now, but for you, you're not gonna have to pay that much. You can get started at $997 at cfdesignschool.com/go. Now you have 2 choices, okay? And here's the thing, you have 2 choices. Your 2 choices. See my money closes here? You have 2 different choices. And then all these different things. Now, once you do these whole objection thing, then you're gonna put up a slide that has a timer, that has your website where they can buy, and then literally I just brainstorm, like you can see how many more pages. I probably have like 20 pages of objections that they might have about the vehicle, that they might have about internal false beliefs, that they might have about external false beliefs. And I literally go through them all. It takes me about a half an hour to go through them all. But the reason why I go through them all is because I just keep breaking down every single barrier they might have to buying my product. So they might even not know that they think some of these things, but all of a sudden they hear it and they're like, oh wait, no, wait, what is the deal with that? And then they are like, oh, okay, I guess it's fine. Then they go up and buy it, okay? So like for some example, right? Aren't there copyright issues at play with design hacking? Is that even legal? I address that. I'll just Google this and learn this on my own. I bet someone else can teach me. I address that. I can get the same results from free templates that Clickfunnels or any other landing page software gets me. I address that. What if I already have a Clickfunnels account? These are all about vehicle. Are you seeing this? I can apply what I know about funnel hacking to design hacking. They're doubting design hacking, okay? I'd rather outsource and hire a custom web designer to design all my web pages for me. I address it. I bet Clickfunnels teaches me something about design. I'll just learn from them. I address that, right? What tools do I need to become a master design hacker? I address that. How could design hacking work when people pay tens of thousands of dollars to get specific web design training? So yeah, vehicle all the time. Then you'll see that I start to address them. I can't afford $9.97 right now. Do you offer support if I get stuck? How will I know if I'm, this is for a bonus, one of the first 18. Design hacking might work, but what if you're a bad teacher? I've literally never heard of Clickfunnels or any software before. You're a bad teacher, that's an external one. Anyway, so you can see I literally go through ton. Now here's what I want to show you as well. You see these blue things? I've inserted these at the end. I'm like, listen, if you're ready to get started, go cfdesignschool.com/go. Every 30 seconds I'm addressing that. cfdesignschool.com/go. cfdesignschool.com/go. cfdesignschool/go. Okay? Now, if people have their own questions on the webinar, I'll address them there. But if they don't have questions, I literally will go through every single one of them because they might not believe it. And people literally stay on to the end, okay? Now, these other blue things that I want to show you, okay, is, what are they called? I don't know what they're called. Basically, you're trying to get people to be nodding their head the whole entire time that they're talking about it. They're like, yes, okay. So by the time you ask them to buy, they just keep in momentum, okay? So Russell in Expert Secrets actually gives a list of a ton of these like head nodders that you can do, okay? Are you ready to dive into this? Who here thinks that design hacking is awesome? Isn't this exciting? Like, you only give them one answer. Like, are you guys excited? That probably isn't my best one. All right, are we ready to get started? Isn't that cool? Am I right? Does that sound all right? Is that all right? Is there anyone listening that's the same as me? Isn't this exciting? And you'll notice, even in my videos, I don't even recognize it anymore. I do it all the time. Can anyone relate to this naive gung-ho mentality? So have you experienced this as well? Could you imagine if this happened to you? Have you ever been in this position before? Yes. Isn't this exciting? Are you getting all this? Like, do you see this? Have you had this experience before, right? You've had this experience before, right? Isn't this exciting? I literally say it's exciting a bajillion times. I literally wrote this whole thing and then I went through and I inserted those, so I had like 2 or 3 per page. So like literally the whole time they are nodding. So as you're going to build out your webinar, you're going to need to do, again, 2 things to really make it kill it. This is the first part, the foundational part, where you have to have good content to actually make it work. The next part is the presentation, and again, next video, I'm actually going to show you how to do these kind of cool graphic things, the science behind them, and why it is that I'm actually doing these things, and how to incorporate them into them. Okay.